Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions!
Whoa! What are you doing, lad?
I'm getting in the mood for today's video, N-Gage's top 5 Digimon games!
It's Pokémon.
That's what I said!
It's going to be a long video.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause.
Welcome, ladles and jelly spoons, to Kohigh Mathy's YouTube channel to celebrate Pokémon Day 2024. Oh, that's why we're a day early this week. Pokémon Day is celebrated annually on February the 27th to commemorate the launch of the first Pokémon game in Japan in 1996. This day marks the beginning of the Pokémon franchise, which has since grown to a global phenomenon encompassing video games, trading card games, TV shows, movies, merchandise and more. The significance of Pokémon Day lies in its celebration of the impact and cultural significance of Pokémon in the lives of fans around the world. It's a day for fans to share their love for Pokémon, reminisce about their favourite Pokémon memories and engage in various Pokémon themed activities. Each year the Pokémon Company, which manages the franchise, often organise special events, announcements or releases to coincide with Pokémon Day. This week we're looking at N-Gage's top 5 Pokémon games. Speaking of which, have any of you seen N-Gage? Oh, sorry, I told him off, Pass.
I'll make us start then. So, Digimon!
It's Pokémon!
What's the difference?
Right, well, for starters, you've got Pokémon. They are monsters that work alongside their human trainers. And then you've got Digimon. They have monsters that work alongside their human pals. And they battle each other to decide the winner of various scenarios to do with power.
I don't know, it sounds pretty similar to me.
See up? Well, they took it and let me tell you about my 5th favourite Pokémon game. Pokémon Legends Arceus, although not retro by this channel's standards.
No, is it in our Tony's book?
True, but Pokémon Legends Arceus is a truly remarkable game that lets you travel back in time to when Pokémon and humans began their journey together. You are tasked with completing the Sinnoh region's first ever Pokédex. To help you on your way, you can choose one of 3 Pokémon to aid you in your quest.
It is the Grass Quill Pokémon and is known for its flying ability and archer-like precision in battle. Rowlet evolves into Dartrix and then into Dekidui, which in Pokémon Legends Arceus is a grass ghost type rather than its usual grass flying type in other games.
Oshawott from Pokémon Black and White. Oshawott is a water type Pokémon known as the Sea Otter Pokémon. Oshawott is recognised for the Scalchop, a shell-like item it carries. Oshawott was also my choice when I played this game.
Cyndaquil from Pokémon Gold and Silver. Cyndaquil is a fire-type Pokémon. It's known as the Fire Mouse Pokémon and is characterised by the flames that blaze on its back when it's excited or agitated.
These starters offer a mix of types and come from different generations of Pokémon games, making Pokémon Legends Arceus unique in its selections for the player's first partner Pokémon.
Ooh. Who is this Digimon then?
You know, I'm not sure this new tea lad is actually going to work out.
Pokémon Stadium. This is a strategy video game released for the Nintendo 64, where players can battle Pokémon in a 3D environment. It does not have a conventional storyline or adventure mode like the main series games. Instead, it focuses on Pokémon battles, allowing players to use their own Pokémon from the red, blue, yellow and green, in Japan, Game Boy games through the Transfer Pack accessory. It features various battle modes including a tournament mode and minigames.
Now, did you know that Pokémon Stadium is actually the second game in series? The original were released only in Japan.
Pokémon Stadium, developed by Nintendo and HAL Laboratory for the Nintendo 64, distinct from the role-playing gameplay of the main series Pokémon games on the handheld Game Boy devices. Pokémon Stadium most notable features is its 3D battle animations, which were a significant advancement over the 2D sprites found in the Game Boy Pokémon games of the time. This allowed players to see their Pokémon execute moves in a more dynamic and visually engaging way.
Pokémon Stadium includes a transfer pack which allows players to connect their Game Boy Pokémon games, red, blue, yellow and in Japan green, to the Nintendo 64. This lets players use their personally trained Pokémon from the handheld game in battles within Pokémon Stadium. Pokémon Stadium features a set of minigames that can be played by up to 4 players. These minigames are simple but entertaining, involving various Pokémon in competitive and cooperative challenges.
Pokémon Stadium was well received for its graphics, the novelty of seeing Pokémon battles in 3D, and its ability to link with the Game Boy Pokémon games, offering a new dimension to the Pokémon experience. Its success led to a sequel, Pokémon Stadium 2, which expanded on the original with more Pokémon, new battle modes, and compatibility with the next generation of Pokémon games, Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Pokémon Snap, a unique game within the Pokémon franchise focusing on photographing Pokémon rather than capturing and battling them. Developed by HAL Laboratory and Pax Softnica, it was released for the Nintendo 64 in 1999. The game presents a creative and non-violent approach to interacting with Pokémon, making it a beloved classic amongst fans of the series. Players take on the role of Todd Snap, a Pokémon photographer who is on assignment from Professor Oak. The objective is to take high quality photographs of Pokémon in their natural habitats for research purposes. Players travel through various environments on rails, meaning the path is predetermined and the vehicle moves automatically, including beaches, volcanoes, rivers, and caves.
There are a total of 36 different types of Pokémon in Pokémon Snap. This being an N64 game, many people have searched in vain for last hidden Pokémon. Beta footage featuring Ekans, which doesn't appear in final release, suggests it may have been the 64th Pokémon. The game features several distinct levels, each offering a unique ecosystem with different Pokémon. Players must use their knowledge of Pokémon behaviour and interact with the environments to coax shy Pokémon out of hiding or trigger special actions. There is also beta footage showing a desert area that didn't make it into final release. Additionally, the game's sound designer Akira Moray posted a track on her website that were to be used in a cut area. Song's title is Fantastic Horror. It suggests that it may have been a ghost theme. Another track on her website is stated to be a boss theme for the same area. In final release, only one stage has a boss. After completing the course, players select their best photo to be evaluated by Professor Oak. The scoring system considers the size of Pokémon in frame, the pose and the technique, if the Pokémon is in centre of frame, and whether other Pokémon are in photo. This evaluation process adds a competitive element to the game, encouraging players to improve their photography skills. The game encourages exploration and experimentation, with secrets and hidden paths that can be unlocked by taking specific actions or capturing particular moments. This adds depth and replayability as players strive to discover all the in-game secrets and capture every Pokémon on film. The original concept for Pokémon Snap wasn't a Pokémon game at all, but rather a generic photography game. When the developers realised there was no motivating factor for gameplay, they decided to add Pokémon as an appealing photography subject for the players. Pokémon Snap was praised for its originality and innovative gameplay, which stood out from the typical Pokémon formula of capturing and battling. Its relaxed pace and emphasis on observation and timing appealed to both younger players and seasoned Pokémon fans. The game's success demonstrates the versatility of the Pokémon franchise and its potential to branch out into other genres. The fond memory and cult following of Pokémon Snap eventually led to development of a long-awaited sequel, New Pokémon Snap, which were released for Nintendo Switch in 2021. This new installment builds on the original premise with updated graphics and a larger variety of Pokémon, and a new environment to explore, bringing a unique experience of Pokémon photography to a new generation of players.
Hey Pokemon Ladles and Pokemon Jelly Spoons, we're halfway through my top 5 Pokemon journey. Before we press on, let's take a quick pause and ask at home what your favourite Pokemon games were and why.
Don't forget to smash that like button. It's like throwing a Pokeball. Catch this video and make it part of your collection. And if you're enjoying our N-Gage's sheer joy of Pokemon games, why not subscribe and ring that bell? We've got plenty more insights and nostalgia trips coming your way, so you don't want to miss out now, do you?
And share this video with your friends, will you? Back in my day, sharing meant lending a comic or CD, but I hear it's much easier now with all your fancy technology. It's nice to share things, isn't it?
Absolutely, Keith, like sharing my love for our Tony's book that I would like to share with you now.
Drop a comment down below and tell us about your favourite Pokemon game. Are you a fan of the classics or do you prefer the latest adventures? Maybe you have a fond memory or an awesome strategy to share. And don't forget, we're not just here to reminisce, we're here to explore what makes each Pokemon game special to our N-Gage and how they've shaped his world of gaming.
And maybe, just maybe, we'll learn something new together, eh? Now, who wants a proper brew?
Thanks for sticking with us, ladles and jelly spoons. Let's jump back into the world of Pokemon. Ready? Then let's go. Pokemon Trading Card Game. For the Game Boy Color, a digital adaptation of the physical Pokemon Trading Card Game, TCG. Released in Japan in 1998 and in North America and Europe in 2000, the game translates the collectible card game experience into a video game format, offering a unique blend of strategy and collecting that appealed to both fans of the TCG and those new to Pokemon card gaming. Developed by Hudson Soft and published by Nintendo, it remains a fondly remembered title for its engaging gameplay and faithful representation of the card game.
Now, did you know that each copy of the game included a limited edition Pokemon card?
Players start as a novice Pokemon card player aiming to become the champion of the Pokemon Card GB world. To achieve this, players must travel across a virtual map, challenging various club masters and grandmasters to collect 8 master medals and eventually win the legendary Pokemon cards.
The core gameplay involves turn-based card battles against opponents. Players construct decks of 60 cards featuring Pokemon, trainer cards and energy cards and use them to battle. The mechanics closely mimic the rules of the physical TCG, where the goal is to knock out opponents' Pokemon by using your own Pokemon attacks powered by energy cards.
Players can build and customise their decks using cards obtained through victories, booster packs or trades with in-game characters. The game encourages players to experiment with different card combinations and strategies to overcome various challenges.
The Pokemon Trading Card Game for the Game Boy Color was well received for its faithful adaptation of the trading card game mechanics, its strategic depth and the addictive nature of card collecting and battling. It served as an effective introduction to the TCG for those unfamiliar with the physical game and provided an engaging Pokemon experience within its own right.
The game's success led to a Japanese-only sequel, Pokemon Card GB2 Here Come GR, which expanded on the original with new cards, new opponents, and a new storyline involving the villainous Team Rocket. Despite the sequel not being released internationally, the original game has maintained a dedicated fanbase and is remembered as a classic Pokemon title that stood out for its unique gameplay within the franchise.
In recent years, the game has been made available on Nintendo Switch Online, allowing a new generation of players to experience this classic Pokemon card game adventure.
And in my top spot, of course, it could only be Pokemon Red and Blue. These are the first games in the Pokemon video game series released for the Game Boy in the late 1990s. In these role-playing games, RPGs, players assume the role of a Pokemon trainer whose goal is to capture and train Pokemon creatures to battle other trainers' Pokemon. The main objective is to defeat the 8 gym leaders, conquer the Elite Four, become the Pokemon champion, and complete the Pokédex by capturing all available 150 Pokemon species.
The man behind Pocket Monsters, Satoshi Tajiri, had been working on the game for a full 5 years from 1991 through to 1996 before he finally decided to release it after he was satisfied enough with it. No one at Nintendo expected the game to be the hit that it was.
Satoshi Tajiri got the concept for Pokemon when he was growing up as a kid. It's said that as a boy he used to love catching bugs of all types and watch them grow and develop, like a caterpillar evolving into a butterfly. It's crazy to know that this childhood hobby would turn into a now normal, popular enterprise.
Pokemon Red and Blue were released for the Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console to celebrate Pokemon's 20th anniversary back in 2016. Since the Nintendo 3DS isn't compatible with the long obsolete Game Link cable, these releases used the system's local wireless features for linked trades and battles. Additionally, several attack animations had been toned down for safety of players with photosensitive epilepsy or other sensory conditions.
Now, did you know that the maximum level your Pokemon can reach is 100, and after that they will continue to gain experience but will gain no more levels?
The US and European releases of Pokemon Blue version are based not only on the Japanese release of Blue version, but also on the Japan-only Pocket Monsters Midori. The Pokemon Blue, known to Western audiences, uses the updated graphics and code from the Japanese Blue, but retains Midori's encounter lists and available in-game trades. And there you have it, ladles and jelly spoons, a whirlwind tour through my top 5 Pokemon video games, from the classic adventures in Red and Blue to the innovative photography in Pokemon Snap, the strategic battles of Pokemon Stadium, the card game action in Pokemon TCG for Game Boy, and the immersive experience of Pokemon Arceus.
It's been an incredible journey seeing how Pokemon has evolved over the years, capturing the hearts of not just video game fans, but people of all ages. Each game brings its own unique flavour to the franchise, proving that Pokemon really can adapt and thrive in any format. Absolutely, lad. It's absolutely shocking that none of them appear in our Tony's book. Speaking of which, where is the book?
You know what, there were some good games in this.
And I tell you what, I might not know much about these Pokemons, but seeing you all so passionate about it, well, it's just wonderful, isn't it? Reminds me of collecting marbles as a kid, you know. Different generations, same joy of collecting and battling, eh?
Exactly. Pokemon has this incredible power to bridge generations, interests, and gaming styles. Whether you're a super fan, a retro enthusiast, a seasoned gamer, or just someone who enjoys being part of the conversation.
Hello.
There's something in Pokemon for everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us on this nostalgic ride. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more adventures into the world of video games. Until next time, keep gaming, and remember, you gotta catch 'em all.
Pokemon!